Hi, my name is Katie Hansen, and I am a live streaming student from the Germana Fredericksburg site. You're going to have to excuse me because I have a cold and I'm pretty congested right now. I was assigned case study 5.4, which is titled Charity to Scouts, and that's found on pages 204 to 207. This particular case study involves a Baytown company, which is a company that owns a string of popular family-oriented restaurants and fast food chains. As a little background, Baytown supports many organizations and charities in the Bay Area through giving back in other ways than food. One of the biggest charities Baytown had worked with was the Boy Scouts. This relationship turned sour when it was discovered that the Boy Scouts wouldn't admit gays, and many companies that had been providing funding, including the San Francisco United Way, Wells Fargo Bank, and Bank of America, had cut funding from the Boy Scouts. So Baytown then followed suit. The majority of the case study describes Baytown Board of Directors meeting, and they review this news article that they found that stated that Bank of America had reversed its decision and would resume funding with the Boy Scouts. The Bank of America spokesperson had stated that after reviewing the Boy Scouts policies, that essentially there was nothing about not admitting homosexuals, and that the only real policies were that you had to, if you wanted to be a Boy Scout, you had to obey the oaths and the laws. So Bank of America basically said that it was a misunderstanding, pretty much, and that homosexuality was essentially irrelevant to being a Boy Scout. But then in the same article, the Boy Scout national president was quoted in saying that homosexuals were basically not positive role models for Boy Scouts. So it was a little bit murky, this article. So the Baytown Board of Directors meeting involved a lot of reviewing of this article and what Bank of America had done, and then basically what the company should do themselves. So a big theme in this case study was broad versus narrow views of corporate responsibility. The group members discussed whether it was Baytown's business or responsibility to get involved with this sort of debate of homosexuality and discrimination. A couple of members, such as Lynn Martin, was very passionate about the Boy Scouts and Bank of America and them being in the wrong. She employed much more of a broad view of corporate responsibility because she felt that basically Baytown should stand behind the, quote, right values, and pretty much that Baytown should not support any discrimination against gays. But on the other hand, Scott Arming, who had much more of a narrow view of corporate responsibility, he argued whether it was actually Baytown's business to impose views on others, and if it's even beneficial for Baytown to be involved with charities in the first place. Because in his words, he stated that the bottom line is money, and that every dollar Baytown gives to charities is a dollar that they lose as a company. So the situation is obviously a tricky one, because it's going to be hard to not step on someone's toes, because there are so many different viewpoints regarding gay rights. But because this is dealing with discrimination in the Boy Scouts, I think that it's best for the company and Baytown to stick to their guns on this. So I think that a company, especially as tied into the community as they are, needs to send a message that shows that they can be trusted in their community. And as Susan Lee stated, if they cut off funding and then reverse their decision, that would send a certain message, especially to their consumers. So whether the consumers agree with it or not, sticking to their guns is a much better decision, in my opinion, than leading consumers to believe one thing and then reversing it, just like Bank of America did, and then it just being kind of a murky, sketchy situation. So I think that whether or not it leads to some consumers getting offended, sticking to this decision and not resuming funding is the best thing that Baytown can do as a company.